It's Julia here. I just bought this new picture. What do you think? I think it goes with my palette of colors. So today I'm speaking with Alicia Jabbar, a business sister in the Bay Area that I've been connecting with over the last 6 months or so. We've been having so much fun in community. Let's see if she's here. Alicia's going to be here in a second. And we're going to be talking today about how sisterhood and collaboration is really the key to success in business. So here she is. We're going to bring her on. There we go. It's so true. I mean, this morning I went and got a pedicure with my girlfriends, my business girlfriends, and it's really the most pleasurable way to do business. I would definitely say that. So let's get Alicia on here. I think I'm going to turn this way. We're all good. Alicia's still coming on. Adding on. Thank you, Grace. And Alicia, we don't quite see you yet, but I see you're being added. We've got 3 people watching. So this morning I went and I got a pedicure with 2 business sisters. There's actually a picture on my Facebook page of our toesies that got so beautifully done this morning. And yeah, let's try that again, Alicia. Here we go. Bring you on. Yay!
Hi there. Sorry about my technical snafu.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked. Hey there, girl. How you doing?
I am excellent. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a really relaxing, luscious day. Like I was just saying before you got on here, I had a pedicure this morning as my networking. I'm hanging out with you, and then tonight going to the Women Catalyst event, New Year's party to rock
Nice.
out lady entrepreneur. So quite a lovely day. And so I thought the theme today was so naturally about sisterhood and collaboration and how building your business through this approach, through sisterhood and collaboration, is for me so much more pleasurable, but I also find it so much more lucrative. So I know that you have an event coming up that's just for women, helping women with their leadership skills.
Yeah.
And you're definitely focused on women as well, and we network together with women. So anyway, let's talk about that. What's your experience with collaboration and sisterhood in business?
It's so funny. Just listening to you, I was thinking as you were going over your day, I'm like, Julia does such a good job of like combining things together in a way that always is like so soul enriching for you. So it's one of the lessons that I have learned from you in being part of your entrepreneurial community. So I want to just take a moment to say thank you. What have I learned about collaboration? It's funny. I mean, work as an entrepreneur was lonely before I got the skill set.
Yeah.
The best things are worth doing with other people, or at least that's kind of my perspective on it. And it's just been really fun to witness the way collaboration can just kind of add a little bit of sparkle to things that are otherwise already great.
I used to do these Facebook Lives every week by myself. And then I would have one week where I was feeling just a little funny, you know, like that, maybe a little down or a little bit sick or tired or something. And I wouldn't do the Facebook Live because, you know, I just didn't have the inner motivation. But as soon as I started doing Facebook Lives with people like this,
yeah,
it happens no matter how I feel, because I don't feel like I have to hold up the world on my own shoulders. That's my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is like we can get really stuck in our own perspectives. And like in conversation and collaboration, it's like turning on little light bulbs that you wouldn't otherwise have turned on. Mm-hmm. And those happen from collaborating with other people.
Yeah, and I know, like I said, you're going to be gathering a bunch of women together for your trainings.
Yeah.
I teach women's trainings as well. And something that I find happens naturally when you get a room of women together, when it's really just a women's space, is that kind of collaboration if it's a positively held environment,
Yeah.
naturally happens.
Yep.
But not, I don't notice that always naturally happening when there's men in the room. It can be a different quality. Do you have any experience with that?
Uh, yeah, I agree with you on the gender dynamic. And I think that there's almost like this turn that happens in events where it's like it only takes one person to bring it to a different level. I
True.
think women are more likely to bring it to that level.
Yeah. True.
Because it's more part of, what we crave as women and what is almost like biological or visceral within us to want this like tribe
Yeah.
mentality or this like, oh yeah, these similarities and kind of, yeah, this tribehood or womanhood. So I think it's women
Yeah.
turn it on more.
Yeah, I agree. There's a sense of collaboration that's wired into us. The image
Yeah.
in mind is a bunch of women sitting around, like cutting vegetables in the back of a kitchen, around a table, singing songs together and sharing stories and gossiping. And
Yeah.
that's the image that comes to me. And then my mind goes also to our Women Catalyst East Bay events, where it's a bunch of women sitting around a table, eating together, just talking about life, and then sort of the business flows in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's part of wanting to really um, be with women, at least in my experience, is really wanting to be with all of them. And so the business aspect is just like a different component or a different viewpoint into this larger conversation about the depth that comes with female connection.
Yeah. I mean, I know my work is very intimate and one-on-one and deep. And a
Mm.
lot of the people that I network with and collaborate with do similar kinds of work. It's intimate, often one-on-one. It's deep work, very personal. And so if I'm not going to hire somebody that I don't feel like I really know, and I'm not going to hire that at that like level of investment
Yeah.
that I offer with my program. So I've found it's actually the most lucrative too to network with people with women who are potential clients, but also potential collaborators. It can be both, and creating relationships as a way to create sales, as opposed to like go out and get the sales and like create like in the sales scripts I was given when I was learning about marketing and enrollment conversations, there's like a section at the beginning, rapport, create
Right.
relationship, and I'm like,
Right.
and
What does that look like?
it's so manufactured sometimes.
Yeah. I had a hit on something that you said just a
Yeah.
second ago around this idea of um, it also just eliminates the guesswork.
Mm.
Like when it comes from a place that isn't that calculated nature, the type of clients that I attract and the one-on-one relationships that I get with people
Yeah.
don't have all that guesswork of like, is this working? Is this not working? There's kind of this like drive or natural flow that's really what this work is all about, actually.
Right, exactly. Because in coaching, you're really in a relationship. You're in a
Yeah.
That's really all it is you're
Yeah.
have a relationship with someone for a certain purpose or goal.
Right.
Um, yeah, you're not going to want to have that kind of relationship with just anybody. It has to be a specific person that you feel aligned with. And so actually it's bringing to mind Monday night I went to Fem Talks, which is a women's networking event in Berkeley, more of the like conscious woo-woo healer type kind of entrepreneurs. And the main speaker was Marisa Murgatroyd. I think I'm butchering her last name, but she's a really well-known entrepreneur, teaches business marketing, branding strategy for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And one thing that she was saying, this was the key lesson that I got from her talk, is that we live in a 3 yes world. As in order for someone to invest in your work, they have to be a yes in their mind, like it rationally makes sense, it's logical. They have to be a yes in their heart. They like you. They can tell that you care about them, that you're a caring person.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to be a yes in their gut, that it's like it's that whole body yes, you know, that it's, she said it's a 3 yes world because we're inundated with so much information.
I think those for me happen in an order. And I like to think they happen with an order in my client first. Like first it's the gut. Like, okay,
Ah,
this like something about this is a yes. And then like, am I willing to tune into it? Can I feel it in my heart? And only then can I go to the logical, like, I am going to say yes to this decision or this work with someone.
right.
It's almost like an upward chain for me.
Hmm. Yeah, so the mind comes in last. It's like a last check. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And I have experienced that with a lot of clients in sales conversations, though I have experienced the other way down too,
Yeah.
where there's almost a tumult of questions, of logic, of information. And
Right.
they start to soften when they've gotten enough information and they can actually smile and laugh and feel and all of that. And then finally there's like is this a yes or a no? And they have to like trust their gut. So
It's funny because I mean, I guess since a lot of the work that I do with clients is mindset oriented, I'm often like, turn it off, like turn off the mind.
yeah.
Because like this is where all of the, I should do these or the messages that you're not really clear about come from your head. And so when I can tell a client is like operating up here, I'm like, get out of that.
Yeah. But at the same time, sometimes logically it doesn't make sense. Maybe like you literally don't have the money right now, or in 2 months you're
Yep,
going to have the
of
money,
course.
that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
there's I like how you do it, that there's like a last check mentally. Like, is this
yeah,
really my highest good in terms of practical things that I have on my responsibility plate, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But back to the theme of today, like if there's not the relationship there of the you can really feel them, you care about them, and you have that gut yes, then I think you shouldn't be necessarily working with that person. But also, on another level, I know that investing at a higher level of for bigger packages is not going to be possible either. Because when you don't have a 3 yes, you're sort of testing the waters all the time. You know, little
Yeah,
tastes. So a workshop here, a webinar. You know, and you're still tasting things.
yeah. Um, do you find that, yeah, it's interesting. I know we're talking about collaboration. Um, it's like almost noticing like for myself in the work that I do, independent of clients or the business building aspect of my business, like I also need those 3 S's,
Mm.
which I think is what you're getting at and what you're saying.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So, like, when you're going to choose which networking events to go to, is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah. The mechanisms I'm going to use to build my business. Like, am I going to join
Yeah.
Julia on a Facebook Live thing? It's like,
Yeah.
is yes. Is this a mechanism that has all three of those yeses?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. So we live in a 3 yes world, and every decision is a 3 yes process.
Yeah.
We're taking this to the next level. I love it.
It's like how much easier it is to come up with those yeses when it involves an essence of collaboration for me.
Yes.
Tying back to like your macro theme, for me, when it feels like it's in collaboration with somebody, it's just an easier yes.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying about the Facebook Live thing, it's
Yeah.
so much more motivating for me to show up for a conversation with someone than to show up to stare at my own phone. And I think for me it might be about the fact that I'm an actress by training. You know, I've always loved being watched.
Yeah.
Funny as that sounds.
That
Like,
makes one of us.
and yet some people don't know this about me. I am such an introvert. I am such an introvert. I need so much time not being watched and being totally like curled up on the couch or in bed and like
Yeah.
alone. But then like when I'm gonna get out there, I want to be the star of the show, and I want to be seen, and I want to be interacting and collaborating and in relationship,
Yeah.
because it gets juicy for me there. And so maybe, if we unpack this a little bit more, for my business, since I'm teaching people about communication and live speaking, it does become very important for me to engage in that in front of my potential clients and audience so that they see me in action. So that's particularly important for my work. I wonder if, really for some people, doing things more with blogs and writing or technology, like Facebook ads kind of stuff, is a better avenue for their marketing. Maybe it's more aligned with just who they are.
Yeah, I'm also noticing, I think it's something specifically about you. I mean, as a coach, you are showing up in services of other people,
Yeah.
which I think is just an extra motivating factor where it's like we're in service of each other when we're in collaborative dialogue. That makes it an easier thing to say yes to. And it comes to mind because I was actually on a call with my own coach earlier today. And I could tell she asked me a leading question because she, basically asked me something along the lines of like, what would make this valuable for you to work on? Or like, what would make this a non-negotiable for you to say yes to the commitment to me? And she was going to this place of, if I make it about what I can offer my clients, once I've embodied this myself, then it becomes a no-brainer.
Yeah, providing value.
Yeah.
First and most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I realize it's in service of someone else, then I'm like, oh, then I could do it.
I see what you mean. So you're driven and motivated by service, by being. Yeah, and that's the other thing about collaboration and sisterhood is that what's good for me is also good for you. So we're both getting visibility right now, right? We're both visible. Like Alicia and I basically created the East Bay Women Catalyst networking event. It didn't exist before. And now it's like a thing and it has its own momentum.
Yeah.
But it was basically you, me, and Julia Wells, right? That got that launched. And so, we served each other by getting each other visible in front of the Women Catalyst community and other people in the group. And now we're seen as leaders there. I mean, nobody has said that to me, but they come to us to organize the next event. And that's how I see collaboration working, is you start to be seen as leaders more, and you lift each other up with much less effort. Yeah.
And it has a certain level of ease, or it no longer feels like that work component because, I think you said it really beautiful when you said, now it kind of just has this thing of its own. Like it's almost like carrying itself. When it gets to that point, it's just like amazing.
Yeah. And, we're both part of this Women Catalyst community based in San Francisco. Lindsay and Kim are great examples of exactly what we're talking about. The founders of Women Catalyst. They're best friends. They collaborated to create this organization, which now I believe is completely supporting Lindsay, right? Financially and
I think so.
And it's growing like wildfire in different cities. It seems from the outside to be very easeful and relaxed and just like casual.
Yeah. I mean, when you get to that point with the things that you're investing in or the things that you're doing, that's kind of the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So what about your event that's coming up? What's your vision in terms of sisterhood and collaboration for that?
The goal is to give people the opportunity to collaborate with each other who wouldn't normally do it, but where there's this like common ground that's at the essence of who these women are in the emerging leader category. So people earlier in their career, and to really expose them to different perspectives and a level of supporting each other through this really tricky growth period. And a way to bring more ideas to them than they would otherwise get in kind of a one role, one situation, in a way that's really designed to do that.
Yeah, so just to be clear for everybody watching, Alicia is leading or working with professional women, right?
Correct.
Women who are in, you probably can say it better than I can, but moving into management roles, is that how you would say it?
Yeah, it's basically, the mission behind Inside Out Incubator was that the largest drop off in women advancing in their career, I think 40% fall off before the first step to management. So if that is true, what are we doing to support women before they get to that first step of management? So it's really our target market is women who have not yet reached that level or who have just done it to support their continuation at that aspect of their career.
Right. Right, because it's that point where it's like sink or swim.
Yep.
You have to find that, what I would call that bigger version of yourself.
Yep.
And
And if you can kind of have the tools to support yourself at a level of your career that does not typically get a lot of support,
mm,
imagine what that'll do for you when you get to a more senior role or a more senior position. You've got tools and you have that power to self-support yourself.
yeah, and since I do a training for professional women as well, I see
Yeah.
the dynamic as well. And what I see is really powerful about getting a bunch of professional women together into a room is that they start to support and collaborate with each other naturally, like we've been talking about. And
Yeah.
some work environment, in their actual work environments, it can be harder to bring out those qualities because there's more competitiveness, right? And
Right.
and there's politics at play, and there's just personalities at play and all that. So I love how the women get to practice and experience being really supported and nourished and start to collaborate on helping each other grow just in that training environment.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the things that's really common in like corporate America is like this idea of offsites. I'm sure as a speaking coach,
Yeah.
you end up like participating in a lot of company or team offsites. It's almost like an offsite for women to develop leadership. It's like, okay, you can't do that while you're in work
Yeah.
necessarily with like your closest colleagues. But what happens when you bring people outside of that environment with a group of people who are familiar with that environment, but no, don't necessarily sit next to you at work or not necessarily with you in every single meeting? It just enlivens a different creative energy and ability to collaborate.
Yeah, and I live a little bit more in the entrepreneurial space for my own work, for my own business.
Hmm.
I would say entrepreneurial women tend to lean more into the collaboration more naturally because I'll just speak for myself. Because I'm a solo entrepreneur, I can end up sort of by myself. I know that I'm aware that I need collaboration a little bit more.
It's like for survival.
Yeah, for survival and getting out of my own head and own house sometimes. So, but also I've also seen in the entrepreneurial world, because everyone's on their own, that you can end up being competitive too if you're in the same
Oh, totally.
industries. So it's worth speaking to entrepreneurs about this as well. And me working with women speakers, it's easy as a speaker to want to be better than the speaker before you or better than all the speakers at the event and want to stand out and be the star and make the most amount of sales from your talk. And it's kind of stuff that can really come up under the surface. I don't know how much it gets actually talked about, but it's really worth talking about it at my event coming up at the end of the month, the Speak to Inspire event. It's going to be a room of just women entrepreneurs speaking.
Yeah.
And my intention is always to create an environment where we share positive feedback first, and then
Yep.
one nugget of constructive feedback. Hi, Irina. Good to see you here. One piece of constructive feedback that can actually make an immediate difference in someone's experience and how they're being perceived as a speaker. So that's always the way that I approach speaker training, because I'll just say specifically for speaker training, things can get negative and critical really quickly.
Yeah.
Feedback can be like, oh, this wasn't working, I didn't understand that, this, you're doing this thing with your hands, and it can get super critical, which I've seen it sort of down spiral pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, even working with my own clients, especially on a one-on-one basis, a lot of the kind of framework that I teach is like, what do you want to start, stop, and continue? It's
Mm.
fairly common as a way of doing it, but you've got to have the continue aspect. Like improving something is not about getting rid of everything you do. It's about like turning up what's also working. And
Yeah.
that's so frequently part of what's missed.
Yeah. So my intention is to really create a sisterhood of speakers that support each other, that bring out the best in each other, and also, name, like you said, that thing to continue working on and focusing on that will really make a difference.
Yeah, I think what's one of the things that's so interesting about your work, and one of the values that I've gotten just about as a result of having you as part of my entrepreneurial community, is when you work alone, an idea in your head can be like so fully baked and make 100% sense. And like, this is going to be the next big thing I create. And then I get in conversation with you and I'm like, you don't get it. And that thread of making it clear to other people is actually at the
Yeah.
essence of what you teach and what you bring to your events. But I mean, you can't know whether or not what's happening up here is clear unless you're in collaboration with somebody else.
Yeah, it's a translation process. I like to say that speaking, really any kind of communication, is a translation from what's happening inside your head and your heart, what's happening inside of you, and trying to transmit it into the mind and heart of someone else. So there's a translation process happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about just saying what you're going to say. It has to make sure that you have to make sure that it's received.
Right.
And that's a skill that takes practice.
Mm-hmm. And lots of feedback, which is, again, why I feel like collaboration and creating an environment that's based on collaboration and positive feedback is so important. That's really where I see people grow and change the fastest and the best. And that sisterhood feeling has become very important in my life for my own personal growth and just happiness and pleasure.
Yeah.
Important for my business, but it's also so important to actually bring into the training spaces that I create. And that's why I've focused my business more and more on women. That sisterhood helps lift my clients up so much faster. So yeah, I'm excited to have a women's only event this month.
Yeah, I had a webinar last night about giving and receiving feedback. As a way to kind of give people a teaser into some of what we're going to cover in our 2-day intensive at the end of February, the last weekend in February in San Francisco. And it was amazing, even in a webinar where there's like this chat dynamic, or that's the main mechanism for communication back and forth between participants. The depth and level of which people contributed, even in a webinar, when knowing that it's kind of like women only, was incredible. Yeah, I'm just constantly blown away about what happens when you create an environment for women to come together, whether or not it's for business or for learning a skill or for just, to your point earlier, like women cooking in the kitchen together or sitting around a dining room table. It's remarkable.
Yeah, or getting pedicures like I did this morning. And it's interesting.
There's still a few things I need to learn from you. How to let go a little.
Networking over pedicure is the best way to network.
Do massages count? I'm kidding. Too much silence.
Harder. It's interesting right now. All the people watching are men. As we talk about our pedicures and girly things.
I mean, you know technology more than me, or at least this technology. This is my first Facebook Live, but I don't know how you can see who's watching.
Oh, it's just because I'm the host, so I see people that are here.
That makes a lot of sense.
So when I've said hi to somebody, I'm saying, like, Keith is here and Ken Kinghorn is here. And there's one other person on their phone that I can't see. So anyway, well, it's been a pleasure to collaborate with you, my dear. It's great to be a business sister. And thanks for joining me today. Any last thoughts?
No, just expressing gratitude to you for your presence in my life and for inviting me to join you today.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to collaborate with you and be in community. And the link to Alicia's training in February is in this post, is in that main post, as well as the link to register for my event. Just FYI, my event's half sold out. There's only 10 spots. So, when the spots are gone, the spots are gone. It's just a matter of, I have to manage time for the night. So make sure to grab your spot if you're intending to come. All right. Thanks, my dear.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Bye.
Bye.